Our second question today is, when is the right time to sell a senior attorney led firm? Okay, so we're gonna approach this question from two parts. There is the subjective personal reasons for when is the right time to sell a law firm, and then there are economic reasons. They can blend with each other. We are often finding in the marketplace that the personal subjective reasons can really be the driving motivators, and we'll talk about both. So, from that personal subjective reason, what we're seeing is when is the right time to sell is when you have any or all even of the following thoughts, which is first is maybe next year is the year that you finally want to slow down, semi-retire, fully retire. Second thought is when will your internal successors offer to purchase your practice? And really, they're just realize that your would-be internal successors are really key employee lawyers that don't want to purchase your practice. There's typically a realization that happens at some point with many senior attorneys. Some do have internal successors that do want to purchase. What we find by and large is that internal successors are key employees. They want a reliable, predictable, and safe job. Third thought is that you just wish you could finally take a 2-week vacation. And the fourth thought is twice a month and once a month, which is that you're just sick and tired of having to twice a month pay payroll and once a month pay rent. In terms of the options, when it comes to selling a law firm, there are three options for senior attorneys to consider. First, and we call this the preferred option, is join, sell, merge with a growing law firm. Second, the potential option is to structure an internal succession plan with key employee lawyers, associates, junior partners, or partners. And then the third, which is not per se a sale option, but effectively it is to maintain your status quo. Because when you're maintaining the status quo, what we're finding often is that the value of your practice, unfortunately, will go down over time. In terms of the consideration, what will you be paid when you're considering to sell your law firm? What we're seeing often with senior attorney led firms is what we call law firm sales 1.0. And law firm sales 1.0, the primary, what we call value chips of what senior attorneys are selling are their client list and their referral source list. Taken together, that is your book of business. A purchasing firm, and here we're going to focus on growing law firms. Okay, a growing law firm, what will they pay in consideration for that book of business is often earnout terms. That is consideration payable as follows: a percentage of the collections derived from the book of business payable over a negotiated number of years. When it comes to who wants to purchase that firm, as we said before, it is typically a growing law firm that wants and needs what senior attorney led firms have. They want and need that all important book of business, which they're prepared to pay on those earnout terms. Sometimes there's upfront money paid as well, but often it's what we described before, law firm sales 1.0 in terms of a percentage of revenues derived from the defined book of business payable over a negotiated number of years. Growing law firms also want and need your experienced workforce, your key employee lawyers, and your key para staff that they want and need to hire to continue representing your clients and their clients. And then, thirdly, now that we are in what we call the 3.0 digital era for the legal industry, growing law firms want and need the subject matter knowledge that you and the other lawyers at your firm have developed over the course of your careers and convert that subject matter knowledge into digital content to attract the attention of today's and tomorrow's clients who look online for lawyers and law firms to hire. Importantly, as we're considering the question of when to sell your law firm, now we're going to focus on the economics, the financial incentive in terms of when is the right time to sell your law firm. We need to recognize here in the mid 2020s and as we're heading towards 2030 that digital marketing disruption has arrived to the legal industry. It began in 2020, really beforehand, but certainly that digital pivot that our entire world experienced in 2020 has continued to mature globally. And we look at the legal industry in particular, what digital marketing disruption means is that clients more and more are reliably looking online for lawyers and law firms to hire as compared to pre 2020, really pre Google, when clients would ask their brother, their mother, their father, their accountant, their financial planner, their gym buddy, and the list goes on and on. That is word of mouth, is how rainmaking happened pre 2020. And now, as we're heading towards 2030, clients continue searching online for lawyers and law firms to hire, whether that's via Google, AI, social media outlets, of course, law firm websites as well, where clients are becoming more and more comfortable with knowing, liking, and trusting lawyers and law firms, even before talking with them and doing so online. What does that mean in terms of that all important book of business for senior attorney led firms, right? What is it that you're offering to growing law firms? You're offering that book of business. Well, if you are not generating as many new clients as you did during the word of mouth era, then your book of business is not going to replenish as well as it did during that word of mouth era. And as a result, your client list is not going to replenish as well as it used to. And your overall book of business is going to become less valuable. It's going to be worth less, but that does not mean that it is worthless. But in terms of when to sell your law firm, we'll show here and explain here a couple of indicators for how you know when is the right time to sell your law firm. If you are not investing and entering into and offering multi-channel digital marketing to attract the attention of clients that are looking online today, what we are seeing is that the revenues of senior attorney-led firms are going down. They're not going down dramatically, but they are going down year over year because your firm may not be generating as many new clients. And if you're not generating as many new clients, then your revenues will be going down. So your book of business continues to exist. It is valuable, but if your revenues year over year are not going up and in fact are going down, that is a huge indicator to please consider selling your law firm. The next indicator for considering when to sell your senior attorney led firm is really to go at 30,000 feet here, is to recognize that we are in what we call the age of the vanishing rainmaker. That is, if you're a rainmaker attorney and you are not handing out as many business cards as you used to. And we're just sort of picking on the business cards as that indicator for the rainmaker attorneys that used to hand out hundreds, thousands of business cards, during the course of a calendar year. Just as a question to you, when was the last time that you reordered a box of 500 new business cards? We're just not seeing it. Heck, I haven't ordered a box of new business cards in 2 years. I need to now, but it's taken me 2 years to get through that box, and it wasn't even 500 business cards. And by the way, I've shifted to a digital card, like many people have. But the overall point here is that in the age of the vanishing rainmaker, the law firms are becoming digital rainmakers in the mid 2020s, heading towards 2030. And if your firm is not transitioning to become a digital rainmaking firm during this age of the vanishing rainmaker, you're just not going to generate as many new clients as you did in yesteryear. And while you continue to have a book of business, while you continue to have key employee lawyers and valuable para staff that offer value to growing law firms, while you have um, treasure chests of subject matter knowledge that offers value to clients, offers value to a growing law firm. While you have those three resources again: clients, a workforce, and subject matter knowledge to convert to digital content, and that is why you will remain valuable to a growing law firm. If your book of business, though, falls to a certain level where it is not replenishing to the extent that that client list is going to offer value to growing law firms, we are starting to see and will continue to see, unfortunately, that there will be certain firms, senior attorney led firms, that growing law firms will no longer have interest in. So, in summary, when it comes to when it is that you should consider selling your senior attorney led firm, there are those subjective reasons. You're just ready to sell. There's the financial reasons. If your revenues are going down year over year, you're just not generating as many new clients as you did in yesteryear, then those are signs that you should seriously consider selling your law firm sooner than later.